If life is considered as a book, every day will be considered as a page of the same book. And if we look at the day as a book, then the morning is considered as the first paragraph or first line, first statement of the page. The way we open the statement, the way we start making the phrase or paragraph, based on that, the book will be interesting for me and for others. That's why my job is to make my book interesting for me. Because if my book is not interesting for me, definitely this book will not be interesting for anybody either. When our paragraphs or the opening statement of the page is not well structured, is not well framed, or it has not that much strength, there is nothing to communicate either, then what happens? We just keep writing something to fill that page. And with that sort of pages, when the book becomes voluminous, whether we like it or not, as we live, every day one more pages are getting added. So when the book becomes voluminous, neither we have patience to look back the pages that we have written, nor we have strength or passion or interest to look for the how many pages are there still blank. That's why this life book always gets opened by itself. Whether it is because of wind, whether it is because of some other factors, it just flips. And when it gets flipped, please understand, sometimes we don't have that much strength to look at that flipped page. And moreover, the book becomes so burden for one's own self. We want to hide that book. We don't like to share that book with anybody or anything. Of course, sometimes we do share selectively. So if I look at my life as a book, whether I like it or not, every day one page will getting added. And of course there are milestones. There are certain goals that I have created. They are the chapters. And based on the chapter, Please understand, based on the chapter, based on the milestones. Now a new page is opening, and based on that, each page is supposed to keep moving. And as a writer, I must make every page interesting. If a few pages are not interesting, please remember this point very carefully. When you are reading any book and you come across that few pages are not interesting, will you like to continue? So it is completely depend upon you to make the book interesting. And remember, the book is nothing, is just your own experience, the way you have looked at others, the way you have lived your life, and your maturity. Of course, or your bitterness too. So if this is the case, that my book is very personal, of course very important, 2 points. It is very personal and very important. I must make it interesting. Long before making interesting, you can see, especially when you go to the exam, I have observed myself and others. Before exam, in Indian context, I can say, we all, as a child, I remember those days, teenager time also, we used to pray all the gods and goddesses, especially praying to gods. Whether we pray other gods or not, 2 gods. One is Ganesha. Remove all the obstacles. The question should be favorable. And second one is, most important, is Saraswati, goddess of knowledge. So that everything should come not on the throat, on pen, on finger. And that day, we are so nice, so kind to bend down in front of our teacher, do namaste 10 times, so that let the teaching flow, whatever they have taught, let it come, so that let it get reflected on exam paper. Each one of the student, before sitting on exam paper, do meditate, do dwell upon, at least they calm down themselves, even if they are hyperactive, so that they can be available to write. And interestingly, it happens when there is nothing to write, but the exam paper has been given, something you have to write. There are people, they just write few things and walk away. And there are people, what they do, they write in such a way, big letters, so that pages are being filled quickly. And they keep asking more and more. They feel if they can make bulk, if they write more number of pages, maybe the teacher will be impressed. Just look at yourself, the way you write the book. That's why we used to suggest, especially in modern days, that start writing your personal diary. Because when you want everything to be systematic, everything to be intellectual, everything to be rational, everything to be logical, to convince those people, we ask, or the modern society asks, that keep writing your personal diary. Maintain your personal diary. What did you do whole day? And what are you planning to do tomorrow? And every week or month, weekly, then of course every month, try to analyze what you did, what you didn't, and why you could not do, and why you did different. So that there is a track for you. But traditionally, culturally, we didn't have this concept of diary system. We had different context, different things to do, because we always make sure how you go to bed and how you get up. If you observe your day, always depends upon, or you can say most of the time depends upon, unless there is some changes here and there takes place. That is exception. Your day, present day, depends upon mainly on last night's sleep. Your present day mainly depends upon the last night sleep. How you have slept, that completely depends upon, that actually pushes you, that actually determines, that only leads how the day will move, because based on the sleep, morning, and of course it always goes back. Have you not observed this? Sometimes daytime you refer your last night sleep. Sometimes it is reflected not only through your activities, through your face, that you did not have proper sleep, or you can say you had disturbed sleep. That's why traditionally we give more importance to sleep. When we say we give more importance to sleep, we look at the bedroom very carefully. Bedroom is supposed to be bedroom, not drawing room. Because each room has its own energy. If you make your bedroom as drawing room, I notice in many places, especially in Indian context, of course because of lack of many things, people will enter into the bedroom and sit on the bed, which really I cannot digest. And all sort of gossip will be there on bedroom. And when all these things, all the activities happens in the bedroom, whether you like it or not, that also influences your sleep. Yes, when there is issue, especially nowadays because of studio apartment, where the house starts, there it ends. That is your dining, that is your living, that is your drawing, that is your everything. There, what can you do? But I would say, if this is the constant, this is the point, you need to take care of few things before you go to sleep. Because when you go to sleep, because you are tired and exhausted, you want to escape. That's why you want to sleep. Have you ever planned to sleep to energize yourself, to relax yourself? Sleep should give relaxation. In sleep, remember, mind must relax. But what happens generally? Just observe yourself. The way we plan for the next day, we never plan for sleep. If you are planning to meet somebody for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, or 1 hour, do you plan? Do you take care of that place somewhere or other? Even if you go to restaurant to eat sometimes, what do? Do you choose which restaurant to go? The atmosphere is okay or not? The ambience is okay or not? Do you check that carefully or not? Imagine a place where you are sleeping at least minimum 6 to 8 hours. Do you really take care of them? Yes, sometimes you do take care of physically. And sometimes, of course, you take care, or your maid servants take care. Please understand. Then what happens to you? Just observe this point very carefully in life. You are conscious. Remember, you are conscious for day activities, where your conscious mind is involved. And if conscious mind is involved, please understand, even if things go wrong, you can be carefully, you can correct, you can improve. Whereas during sleep time, your conscious mind is not available. So when your conscious mind is not available, because your conscious mind goes to dormant, subconscious mind takes over. That means what? Are you not supposed to be double careful? Just observe a vehicle that is going in front of you. If there is the board, child on board, just a write-off or a small shirt is hanging behind, or is being written child on board, how do you drive behind? Don't you give respect? Forget the person who is driving inside, that's another thing. Being outsider, not connected to the person, not known to the person, because it is written child on board. This is a minimum sense you have, minimum thinking you have. You do not disturb that person. You try your level best to take over in such a without disturbing that person much. Because deep within, child mind is not conscious mind. A baby especially spends more time with, please understand that baby's mind is more related to subconscious mind. First few months relates with the previous life. That's why a baby cries without anything, laughs without anything, jumps without anything, starts blubbering, doing something or other, because still the subconscious mind is connected to a previous life. What I am highlighting here is, when you know that the baby is on board, that means conscious mind is not there, that is subconscious mind is functioning predominantly. You take care of. Now look at yourself. During sleep time, your subconscious mind is predominant. When your subconscious mind is predominant, do you really take care of the atmosphere and ambience or not? That's why the way you take care of your ambience or atmosphere, accordingly you have sleep. And the way you have sleep, that actually gets reflected next day. The residue, the reaction, the consequences that you go through during sleep time gets reflected next day. And again what happens? When whole day is tired, again you go to bed, same thing happens, and whole life becomes mechanical. That's why what we say here, to come out of this mechanical way of living or making the book only bulky, writing something where neither I can look back, nor anybody will be interested to look back. Just a book, and of course when I die, that book also gets burnt. Nobody wants to remember me, nobody wants to think about me. In fact, a relief. Because when the book is completely full of unuseful, I won't say garbage, full of unuseful things, what will happen to the book? Let us burn it. Let us destroy it. So also my life. So when I have not lived properly, when my pages are not really that much interesting for me nor for others, only competition, hatred, jealous, this, that, and always related to me, mine, we'll see in detail through these verses, then what happens? You know better. That's why we have a beautiful concept that take care of your sleep first. These are the minimum things to be followed. I have seen for myself. Because of this time zone factor, whenever I go to bed late, that night sleep is not okay. And the consequence of it, next day there will be some type of irritation. Even if I do many things in the morning, definitely it minimizes the impact. Please understand. Definitely it minimizes the impact, but it does not solve that day problem. But one good thing happens, because I do many things, next day I go to bed early. See the point carefully. So when you take care of the day properly, you go to bed early and sleep becomes beautiful. If you take care of the sleep properly, definitely next day also will be taken care. So let us start with preparation part before going this verse. We can prepare for our sleep. Especially, as all of you know, sleeps can be divided into 3 categories. One is sattvic sleep, which is the best. The next one is called rajasic, better. And the third one is called tamasic sleep, that is called good. Remember, no time sleep is bad either. So we have 3 types of sleep. good, better and best. We must work to have best sleep. We must not be satisfied with good or better. And of course the sleep, especially best sleep, depends upon few factors. The first thing is, please understand, the ambience. Even though first factor is your mind, your day-to-day, all-day activities, but remember, ambience changes the mood and everything differently. That's why make sure your bedroom is energetic. If your bedroom is tamasic, definitely your sleep will be tamasic. If your bed is rajasic, bedroom, not bed, bedroom is rajasic, definitely your sleep will be rajasic. If your bed is sattvic or bedroom is sattvic, sleep will be sattvic. Now question may arise, what is this rajasic, tamasic and sattvic? What is good, better and best? Starting with this, remember the place that you are sleeping, is it energetic? And after sleeping, do you feel lighter or heaviness? If there is heaviness and of course completely lazy and lethargy, that definitely the place is called as tamasic. And of course, related to sleep especially, you will discover how you sleep and better you know that. And coming to rajasic aspect, mind will be always agitated. Mind will be thinking a lot. And atmosphere, if same thing happens, definitely that mind will not calm down at all. And sattvic part we say very carefully, that when we look at the sattvic part, mind has to be very refreshing. At any time you wake up without any disturbance, the freshness should continue. Not like Sunday sleep. Very unfortunately, everybody, I cannot say everybody, most of the people, most of you wants to sleep longer on Sunday. Is a wrong concept. Never make this mistake in your life. If you really want to be somebody in life, never ever get up late on Sunday. Day of sun god, you should get up before sun rises. I will say openly, which I never say, but I can say, other days you can get up late, but not on Sunday. However, out of the context. So here, you need to look at your sleep carefully. If we observe, just trying to communicate this point, how the sleep preparation starts. As you know, we divide the time into kapha, vata and pitta part. So kapha means lot of, mainly kapha is water content more. which leads to dullness, laziness. Vata is air and Pitam is mainly fire. These three elements mixed together. Remember, earth and water, kapha. Earth, air becomes vata, earth and fire is called pitta. And of course space accommodates. Now if you look at morning before sunrise, let us say the moment sun rises, generally in Indian context we take around 6 o'clock, 6 to 10, 4 hours called kapha predominant. That's why we say very clearly, carefully, you have to take a bath before 6. Before 6, before sunrises, if you don't take bath, after sunrise if you take bath, because already kapha is predominant, and if you take bath, you will catch cold. Unless you expose yourself to sunlight or you use this hair dryer. Or we look at, unless you know the Swara Yoga. Then we say, when this is 6 to 10 is a kapha pradhana, there you are supposed to have the food which is warm, which is hot. That's why present day tea, coffee, in old days in India we had kanji. Because in India we did not have breakfast at all. These Britishers came and destroyed us. Then comes 10 to 2, Pita Pradhana. And that is the time to consume food. And if you cannot, please understand, take bath before 6, before sunrise, especially elderly people, that's why are allowed, or sick people are allowed to take bath after 10. If they have not taken bath before early morning, sick people, children, elderly people are allowed to take bath after 10. This is the only purpose, nothing else. So that the Pittam Pradhana, now there is fire, and if they take bath, definitely the health hazard will not be there. And after bath, they have their food. I would like to say, highlight very carefully, if you want to take bath late, don't have any solid food before. As a principle, as a discipline. Then when 10 to 2, whatever you eat, it will get digested very nicely. That's why after 2, you are not supposed to eat your lunch. Not allowed. Maximum up to 1 o'clock. If you eat anything after 2, please understand, have you not observed, if you take lunch after 2, it will not get digested properly. That's why first comes kapha, pitta, then comes vata. 2 to 6 again becomes vata. That's why during that time you can have little lighter food. Then comes, actually technically speaking, only vata time you can have kapha time. Generally kapha time we don't have anything. Only some warm thing we are supposed to have, like soup or something. That's why in earlier days The food was only taken when, as long as sun was there. Once the sun sets, no food was being consumed. Then comes 6 to 10 night, again kapha. And as I told you, there should be some warm liquid food. And night from 10 to 2 is called pitta. Whatever food is undigested, because if you eat after 10 or 9 or 10, 11, 12, definitely food will not be digested. A lot of complication will happen, and it will lead to definitely either tamasic sleep or rajasic sleep. This is the point I try to explain in details. So from 10 to 2, you are supposed to keep the stomach empty. In fact, we are not supposed to drink water, much water during that time. Because if we drink water, much water during that time, we are reducing the digestive fire. And all sort of health hazard is happening because of this reason. Then after 2, please understand, 2 to again 6 is vata. That's why if you get up before sunrise, you are very fresh, energetic. Especially people, those who complain, oh, my body is paining, this is happening, that is happening. Please understand, for them, they must get up before sunrise. They must get up when vata is predominant, not kapha is predominant. So this kapha, vata, pitta pattern, which really works with reference to our sleep. If you observe, if you have food, little heavy food, that too, after 8 or 9 o'clock, even if 8 o'clock you have heavy food, you know what happens. And allowing the mind to be with this kapha, vata, pitta pattern. Then once you sleep carefully, please understand, you must not go to bed because your body is tired. That is what happens to all of you. Your body is tired, you go to bed. They say, I hit the bed. Then what happens? We say very carefully, it is like all our computer, means mind, is in hibernation mode. Or of course sleep mode. Sleep mode doesn't mean, or hibernation mode does not mean that software is not functioning, mind is not functioning. It continues. That's why the moment it gets up, all the programs that you had opened, it pops up with that. In fact, you never start a fresh page. Your page is so clumsy. Your paragraph, you don't have a separate paragraph. All your writings are connected to previous page, and paragraph continues and continues. Imagine in a book, if there are no separate paragraphs, there is no proper space, only words and words after that. Even if the best book, will you like to read? Will you be comfortable? Look at yourself, what you do. How is your book? That's why what you need to do here is bringing some change in your food habit first. Unless you have sattvic food, you will not have sattvic sleep. If you are having Rajasic food, your sleep will be Rajasic. If you are having Tamasic food, definitely your sleep will be Tamasic. It is not only what you have done whole day, it is also directly connected to the food, and that we discussed Kapha Vata Pitta concept, when, how and where. And finally, the place that you live. That's why you can see, especially in Indian context, we, especially Indians, they have more problem than anybody in the world. All the way. But somehow they were better. Now things are becoming complicated. Because in house, they do take care of many things. Strictly, in every Indian house earlier days, puja and other things were continuing. Nowadays, a new trend, people go to temple to do puja. Especially in other religion, especially in Christianity, they go to churches to do puja. Means to pray or whatever. It's a really disaster for the home. Because, of course, that is not a prayer, it's called, get together, congregate, place of congregation, socializing, politicalizing, blah, blah, blah. There is nothing relationship with the deity or anything. It is maybe relationship with other people. Whereas when the puja, that recharging the place, puja means, I would rather say, recharging the place, happens in your house, definitely you create a sattvic ambience. So to have sleep, especially sattvic sleep, you need sattvic food. You need to take care of Kapha Vata Pitta concept. And you need to make the sattvic ambience. After taking care of everything, there is no guarantee that you will have sattvic sleep also. Because in many places, many houses, everything is there, but some people get good sleep, some people do not. That's why there we say, before you sleep, make sure you change your dress if you can. Not old dress, okay? Putting last night dress. Many people do that, especially modern people all over the world now started doing, night dress. And what? Like yesterday's day before yesterday, every day or every 2 days, 3 days, they wash it. Mamma mia, in Italiano I can say this much. However, not only you take care of the dress, but here we say very carefully, you need to wash yourself, we say pancha snanam. Because generally, many people do this mistake. Where it came and how did it come? They do full snanam, nothing wrong in it. But they replace morning snanam, morning shower. So they do only take shower before going to bed. Then what happens? That becomes completely gross. In fact, the mind becomes really gross when you take night shower. Yes, because what happens? There is a freshness. Then after freshness, what happens? It is like exactly you are completely energetic and you hit the bed, which is tamasic. And moreover, please understand how things changes. That's why what we do generally, we do pancha snanam. Beautiful concept. 2 hands up to elbows, 2 feet, which starts from the knee to feet, and the face. This is called Panchasnanam. So when you do this snanam, for example, we say technically, when you wash yourself, now you are taking or doing this thing for a sleep, like a ritual. So sleep becomes a ritual. It is not mechanical activities. Okay, if you have a habit of taking a shower, nothing wrong in it. I am not saying no to it. But please understand, also take care of the consequences of it. Then comes most important thing comes, which is really, you need to chant something. You need to calm down your mind. We have different stotras. Ratri Shuktam. And especially if you have disturbed sleep, regularly, if really your sleep is not that convenient, we say chant Durga Suktam, Durga mantras related to Mother Durga to protect you. Mainly the mother to be invoked. So when the mother is being invoked, the emotional comfort definitely you get during that time. And when you take care of your sleep consciously, please understand, in sleep you should be able to listen to others. That is called sattvic sleep. While sleeping, you should be able to listen to others. If anybody comes in your room, you should be able to know that somebody is coming and who is coming. Means you are able to understand the step sound. At the same time, you are fresh. One of the best example of sattvic sleep is, in this context I would like to say, is Lord, the servant of Lord Rama called Lakshmana. Lakshmana, the brother of Rama, was always a shadow to Rama, and he never slept. 14 years when they went to forest, he never slept. He managed. How did he manage? This is the way to manage. Because all the time being alert. Because when you are alert, you will have a lot of energy. At the same time, mind is really fresh. And when you take care of the sleep in this way, and when you get up in the morning, what you should do? We have a beautiful text called Prata Smarana, Param Brahma Prata Smarana. Because morning when you get up, how you should start, what are the things you've done, and especially this Prata Smarana, we'll see in details tomorrow. Please close your eyes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.